Welcome to yet another edition of POS, the podcast where we sometimes find the piece of shit stories and sometimes we just babble. I think this might be a babble one, but who knows? It's just me and Bobby. Bobby, it's time for me to ask how you are because I've seen you more the last couple of days than I think I've ever seen you before. But how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How about you?
I'm great. We just had a business meeting, and it really wasn't. I just like saying business, and I did a comedy business meeting with you guys. But like it was just me going, yeah, that's good. And then like, well, how about this? So that's also good. Is that good? Like, yeah, this is good. That's how I
The
do business.
the best part is you spoke like 6 times more than I did. So you're still winning.
It was just one person going, hey, so what do you think is a good release date? And I go, Mondays are good. And he goes, well, I like Fridays. I go, Fridays are good. And you went, yeah.
Works for me.
Yeah. I don't know. But I guess if we're talking about that, I know what I'm gonna say because first of all, I appreciate you and all the fucking effort and all the crazy things you did to make this weekend happen. So to you and to Aaron, but mostly to you because Aaron's gonna do the leg thing now. But for this weekend to happen, I'm not really, and not a lot of people know me behind the scenes, like behind comedy things. I'm pretty unflappable when it comes to a lot of shit. You kind of saw that with me, but I know that you wanted this to be great, so I knew just to let you do you. But by me doing that, sometimes I know I can stress people out because I don't get stressed. I get stressed out by personal things terribly. I have to go to therapy for it. When it comes to comedy and things like that, I just always trust it's gonna work. So some people are like, "Why aren't you more stressed?" I'm like, I don't know, but you were awesome.
Thank goodness my psychopathy actually helped me this weekend because I fought so many imaginary battles in my head that by the time the real battles came, I bit my tongue. I didn't say anything like, well, if you want to have a say, go get a GED and a real job.
Yeah.
The one comment that slipped, though, was they were like, we have to renumber all the tables. And I was like, oh, I could do that real quick. There's 7. And I didn't mean
Well,
it in a
no,
shitty way, but it came
right.
across in a very shitty way.
Yeah, well, now we're gonna call them 8 through 14. It's like, all right, fuck off. It's like,
Cool.
but for people who didn't know, and we kind of talked about it on here, but the headache, if you will. First of all, I also want to thank Ryan Browsing, Comedy Craft Beer, because man, he came through in a pinch. Because unfortunately, the venue, one of the first places I ever wanted to headline, is being Connecticut, the oldest comedy club in Connecticut, Brouhaha, which is underneath City Steam Brewery. We've been there forever. They had structural damage happen 2 weeks ago to the point where all the pipes burst and all the bathrooms were messed up, and they had to shut down. And so comedy, which happens every weekend there, couldn't happen. And Ryan ran around, and not just for me, obviously for all his comedy, but knowing what I had to, called me up and he's like, "Hey, we found a place 3 minutes away. They've got a big function room. We're gonna make it work. Is that cool with you?" He's like, "I know it's gonna be bad for the recording." I'm like, "It's only audio." He's like, "Sweet," because the video would be brutal. It was a function room, and they set it up the best they could on Friday. He didn't set it up. It was just the people that work at the. You're asking the people that work at a hotel, restaurant, and some of the servers from the old place that were coming over there since they're closed, to set up a room for comedy. They don't know how to do it, and it looked like we were doing timeshare stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I think they set that room up for wedding receptions and conferences because that's how it was laid out. Like a wedding, there were 5. It's a real long and narrow room, stage at one end, 5 round tables on one side, a couple of straight tables with people with their back to you on the other side. That was my favorite part. Like, let's watch comedy with the back of our heads.
Now, the other part is, Bobby, I don't know if they told you this. The weekend before was the first time they tried to do it there, and they didn't even have tables. They just did all chairs like you're going to be in there. And like those jobs where you read in the paper. Who needs salary? You just work off 100% commission. Come to our sales meeting in this conference room, and we teach you how to be an animal. It was like that. I was waiting for coffees for closers type deal. But so when
They
they put the
won't tell
tables,
you the
that's
job until you sign the contract agreeing you'll
yeah,
do the job, and then you find out you're selling knives.
yeah. If you find out you're doing what they just did, now you have to tell people to take a job. Like, what's the job? To get people to take jobs. Like, what the fuck is the job? But that's basically what the setup was on Friday. And Friday was a great proof that I am very proud that this is the first time I recorded an album where I had the ability to have 2 days to record it. Because the first 2 times I did it on my own, I didn't have that luxury. So I just recorded one show each time, and I had to go for broke. And I kind of like the idea of that because live comedy, whatever. Not that I would change things up, but like the fact that I had one to in case something that I can't control happened, and I can't control white trash 50-year-olds with fucking mullets because they were there at a table celebrating a birthday, and everyone else in that audience, it wasn't a huge audience, but they were fucking great. Their energy was so good. I'm kind of like, and I'm looking at you as I'm on stage. I'm trying not to do crowd work on this thing. A little bit's fine. But no, but I look at you at one point, and I was like, all right, you're cutting this out. And I just went off on those women, which was super fun to do.
And then you literally turned to me and went, yeah, you're going to have to cut this out.
It just wouldn't make sense. I would have kept it if it made sense, but it wouldn't have made sense to people listening. And then Saturday, first of all, also, again, I know there's a lot of thanks episode. Thank you, Ryan Roberts and Matthew James of Radio 104. Thank you, Chaz and AJ, more than anything, because for the last month, me being on that show all the time, twice a week, they've been promoting this all the time. And on Saturday, the tribe, that's what they call it, the hardcore listeners, a lot of the ladies from the tribe, Mamsie and Emma and all them, Linda, they all came out to support. And we had a great, it was people that knew me from radio, people that knew me from a lot of their fan things, which was cool. That came up. So thank you, Tez and AJ. But then Ryan Roberts and Matthew James from Radio 104, I hit him up 2 days earlier. And I was like, hey, any chance I can come on Friday during the afternoon, so promote the weekend. And I'm like, and Bobby's going to be with me. And I knew it was Bobby's make-a-wish to be on radio. So
yeah, it really was, and you made it come true.
And I'm joking, but I remember my first time doing it is big boy comedy stuff. It's like kind of cool that you get to promote a comedy thing. You know what I mean? So they were like, yeah, of course. And they're dope as hell. And we got to go on there. And we definitely got some people from that. And Ryan hit me up over the weekend. He's like, how'd it go? I'm like, bro, it went awesome. Saturday, the problem is, I don't know if we're technically allowed to call anything a sellout because they don't know what that room holds because no one's ever put chairs in it. But there were no chairs left. So it was a sellout.
And I can tell you it was beyond a sellout because when I cleared the room out the night before, I saw the sign that said how many people are legally allowed to be in that room. And we had 20 more.
Nice.
So
it was like 80 something people, but in a room it was. And Bobby, so the second day, Bobby built it like a kill box. Bobby built it like it was like a maze. It was square. Now the wait staff was like, "Well, how are we going to serve drinks and food?" And Bobby's like, "That's a you problem. That's not a me problem." And Bobby kept saying to me, "If they give you any shit, I got you. The labels got you." I go, "That's great. They don't care about any of that." And I also kept saying to Bobby, "I'm not worried about it. I want the laughs."
You kept being like, also, don't say anything because you'll make it worse for me. Just please.
I was like, you just do what you got to do, but don't have any conversations. And they're going to have to deal and adapt, and it'll be fine. Because at the end of the day, they weren't going to complain about making money off the amount of people that were there. So that was going to be good. But man, and once again, thanks. One of my longest time friends of comedy, Darren Rivera, man, that guy hosted the fuck out of this weekend. He's a headliner. He's a badass comic, but he's so likable and so great. And he's one of those guys that's just like, he was so happy for me to do this. I had to say to him, don't fucking say all that shit because I don't need that bullshit on my album. He's laughing. You can do it, but then you have to pause. You can tell me everyone you love me 6 times, whatever, but then you got to move forward on all that shit. But then you, Bobby, did a fucking great job with your set too, and having to run around and record. But when I went up there Saturday, to use the term, it felt special. It felt like they were there for it. I've been working on it, and everything joke-wise that had to hit tenfold. And it was the audience doing that. I wrote the jokes and did whatever. But the audience was on board for this, and they made it feel more special than it should have to be in a fucking banquet room of a Holiday Inn where two rooms over, 13-year-old kids are having a dance off. Like it was fucking bananas night. But it went fucking fantastically. I know that you've already listened and heard it. I imagine it has to sound great because those laughs were insane. Like it felt. I felt the laughs.
You mentioned the tribe and that table of 4 women in particular. I don't know who sat the room, but they sat them right where my 2 audience mics connected. And they laughed at the whole time at every joke. It was incredible. It came out very, very well. Like I didn't even go through and really clean it up because it came out that well. So it's still got a little bit of polishing on the way. One shout out I didn't want to give was Andrea from Queen showed up, which I thought was cool
It's
because that's
fucking
about a
awesome.
2.5 hour trip for her. I didn't know she was coming. She says she told me, but I occasionally do drugs.
Yeah, because I saw her walk into the lobby as I was hanging out there. Because I had some family come in, stuff like that, and I was just greeting some people and just I don't really get as you saw too. Something will get weird to me. This I don't get in my own head before a show. I kind of just hang out like I'm not on the show. And some people are like, you're not gonna like think about your act. I'm like I wrote it. Like I'm not. It's just not me. If I did that, I'd be nervous because I'm like I don't do that. So I just kind of I walk around and I wonder if every waitress is gonna get mad that I want coffee. Like that's basically it. It's like, can I
And
have a coffee? They're like, why would we have that here? But I don't know. You're a hotel. I only want like I guess I can make a pot. I go, I don't know. I just drew like 150 more people than you normally have in 2 days. You can give me
yeah,
a coffee, but whatever. They were fine. I'm not picking on them, but I'm in the lobby hanging out, whatever. And I look and I'm like, that lady looks like Andrea. And I'm like, holy fuck, it's Andrea. And I'm like, what the fuck? How far is this? She goes, not bad. And she's like, so I knew that meant like that was part. She goes, I told Bobby I was coming. I'm like, I didn't say anything. And you're like, I don't fucking know. But she came, was awesome. Andrea, thank you for coming. I know when everybody was leaving, I was a kind of busy at the end of the show. I mean, we'll get to that.
we will get to
So
that.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I really appreciate it. And Bobby, of course, the first thing I think is when you said, "Oh, those ladies from the tribe sat there." I'm waiting for all the haters to go, "Oh, that's when the laughs were good." He planted four people who laughed. Fuck you! Everybody was laughing. Even a lady who said she was offended. But Bobby, when you said that table was right there, you know who's right behind that table, right?
Your family.
My daughter, her boyfriend, their friends, and my two sisters and my brother-in-law. So like that was a great spot. But the whole place was laughing. But my favorite laugh came from a comic in Connecticut named Nick Kelly, who was sitting in the far guard. Nick's a good dude. Nick is a fucking maniac. Nick was hitting me up all weekend. Yo, can I get free tickets? I'm like, I don't think I have the ability to do that. It's not my show. Fine, whatever. The minute later, he's like, do I need to get in? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't work tickets.
Why
He's like,
don't you have ID, Nick?
well, I find out he got his car stolen like a month earlier, and he told me that's why his show I was supposed to do him got canceled. And I'm like, well, that's a canceled show. The show wasn't in your car. But whatever. I like Nick. He's crazy, but he's whatever. And he's just like, all right, you don't be short with me. I'm like, what are we doing? Did I used to date you? But when he showed up, big hug. He's a great supportive dude. I was excited that he came. He's sitting in the corner, and I have one joke that I even said to you before. This is the one where I know there. Sometimes comics do this. There is a line just for me. There is a line that just makes me laugh, and sometimes it really does just make me laugh in this one joke. It's not like a punchline to a joke. It's just one line in the middle, which some people would say, wouldn't that deter the people from going on? Not me. It's setting the mood. But when I said this one line, he cracked, and no one else in the room did. So it was silence, like this a lunatic laughing at a lunatic thing, which made it so much better because I was able to address that. Going, you're nuts. It was everything that could have gone well went well. What did you think before I get to the ending part?
I thought it was a fantastic show. I thought it was great how everybody from different walks of life came out. Your family was there. While you were visiting with them in the lobby, I witnessed the greatest conversation, which was just a woman crying, being consoled by a bunch of other dance moms because her husband went on a bus to fight another husband. Any nerves I had pre-show and recording were gone because I was like, well, at least I didn't fight somebody on another bus over dance. But
I am very happy that we make jokes all the time on this podcast that our audience, our demographic, the small and mighty, are all pedophiles and stuff. But thank God they aren't, because literally in the lobby were 13-year-old girls in leotards stretching all weekend long, and it's just like, what is this setup? But
it,
it's Holiday Inn, baby.
it was. I was staying there and I didn't get to go to the pool. I was just like,
Why not?
this is just a problem waiting to happen, you know. Bill Cosby would have been fine if he just stayed with hookers. You know what I'm saying? Know your demographic.
Always go adult. That's the rules. But yeah, it was awesome.
But hang on, real quick. Friday was great, and I got to hear the whole set start to finish. I had heard most of it the weekend before we were hanging out, but I was like, oh, this is a good set. And then you always hear comics when they're like, you think of like 2 tags the week after you finish recording the album. There were several just off the cuff things you said that I know weren't planned in the set that you just went with that killed as hard as some of the like jokes you've been doing for months. So it feels like you really wrung every joke you could out of it. The audience was in the palm of your hand. The ending couldn't have gone better. Like the planned ending you had versus the twist could not have been a better ending to a show. I think it's amazing. Like it was really cool to see you in your element. And then I know this doesn't mean much, but like the fact that Berg was as agreeable, that it was as funny and as solid of an album as I thought it was really cool too. Because I know I'm your friend and I'm probably, you know, wearing rose-colored glasses, but somebody who is going to be as critical as possible to try to make it as good as possible was like, this is a solid album.
What was crazy is that obviously the one concern I've had for the last 2 months is, Bobby, you're not just doing this without any permission, right? You're like, no, Pat. Aaron knows about it. Like, I know, but you're also my friend. You know that I wanted to do this. Maybe you're just being a good guy. You're gonna like slip it under his paperwork, other things, and then they say, "What's this thing?" And I'm like, you're like, finally, yeah, man, he's on board. You can say the name of the label. You can do it. It's all real. And I go, sure. Like, so even like this weekend, I'm kind of like, all right, this went really well. I wonder if I have to put it out myself, and then Bobby's just going to give me money. Go, this is from the company. Don't say uncancelable. But no, then you're like, so then today we have the call and Berg's on, and like just the fact right away he just goes, before I can say anything, first of all, awesome job. It wasn't like, okay, good job. It was like, awesome. This is great. And he has already broken down the tracks and gave it names. And I'm a storyteller. I mean, a lot of people might have seen my act. I don't really consider myself that. Because I don't like putting labels on things, but I know if you watch me, that's what I am. It's not knock jokes. It's not set up premise punch. I do have some things within my stories, but most of my, especially this album, are stories. There was one story that when he broke down the tracks, I'm like, how did he make that 3 trap? And then I thought about the stat joke. I'm like, it is 3 jokes, but it's in my head as one. And the funny thing about that, you were saying before about like come up with tags. What was it, a month and a half ago? I said on this podcast, hey, I'm thinking of adding something. I don't know if it's going to be any good for the album, but there's one story I just might mess with and throw it in there. And that whole thing I'm doing with the thing with Meatloaf and Hasselhoff, as much as I like other ones, people out when they were leaving were like, "Those are the jokes. Like that's the shit." Like
we were talking about it Friday as I drove you back, and you were kind of like, "Yeah, that one was good," and I was like, "Dude, that's my favorite section. Like, I love it all, but that's my favorite section." You're like, "Yeah, it kind of blew me off." No, and I get it. Like, you know what your favorite part is, but then the audience Saturday night was just like, "Holy shit, this guy's fucking god."
There were, and you had said this to me too, and you and Darren said it. I was like, in a moment, I kind of like passed it back. I remember it. Yes, people are laughing very hard, and yes, it's cool to get applause breaks. But my daughter goes, "A fucker was whistling." like they got applause break. You guys like, you start like calling dogs, but I don't know what it was. People were fucking on fucking board. It was great. Yeah, and some of the taglines, I like being in them. I think, especially if I'm trying to limit my crowd work because of an audio thing. If I hit, when young comics ask me about how to do crowd work, I'm always like, don't practice crowd work. Just trust your gut. You're funny. So if something pops up in your mind while you're talking, trust it. Say it out loud. See if it works. If you overthink, it's not going to work. So I do that with tags sometimes myself when I can't do crowds. I'm like, trust yourself. You've written these jokes, and if you don't do that, and then you do this joke a week later, you're going to kick yourself. Now I'm trying to try most of those big stories. I'm not doing again. I told you that. I said I love those jokes. I'm happy they're gone now. So because I did everything, and the problem with my second album was I kind of rushed at myself, and that was wrong.
Your mic got all weird for a second. Run that back.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I think I hit something. I was saying like my second album, I kind of started when I did that. I kind of rushed it a little bit, and I started doing some of those jokes afterwards, and I started coming up with better tags and better structure. And I'm like, oh, these jokes could have been so much better. I probably rushed. I did, or I should have just stopped doing them. So I can't do what I'm doing to them now. These now, I'm very happy that they're on a thing where someone else kind of, I know I own them, but you know what I mean. Someone else owns them. So like, don't do them anymore because you don't want to try to do them anywhere else anyway. So it's happy to do that there. But to get to the last part, if you don't mind, I think it'd be easier if you explained what happened, and I'll explain the confrontation afterwards.
So there we were, Pat. You finished what was we were considering the album, and then you had some jokes you were gonna do, like
I think it's okay. It's up to you. I think it's okay if we even say, "Why am I getting close enough?" Am I passing out?
I thought I was having a stroke.
My camera's all normal.
So you get.
I think it's okay if you mention some of the material on the bonus track.
Yeah, I will. So you go, all right, guys, everybody have a good time. Okay, I'm going to do one more. And then you went, let me tell you the story of the time somebody tried to buy my mom's dead clothes. And a woman in the front row went, what the fuck? We've already heard this 9 times, Pat.
That
And
did
then you,
not happen.
no, no, no. No, you do a great thing. You finish your set. Then you go, did everybody have a good time? Everybody goes, yes. And then you were preparing to do what I would consider your darkest joke. Would you agree?
Well, I mean, on purpose. I mean, I literally say to
Yeah.
the audience,
Well, no, hang
like,
on. That's why I'm
oh,
about to explain that. But you would agree it is your darkest joke, right? So then you
and I
go,
have a
hey,
couple dark. I have some dark material. So
yeah,
yeah.
you've really pushed the line most of the night, and you go, before I go any further, was anybody offended? And you're expecting a no, because you really didn't do anything offensive. You didn't have any moments during the set where somebody reacted like you really offended them.
And on purpose, I make the jokes personal to me. So I usually go and I explain the act, and I came up with that one line at the beginning too. That kind of changed everything, and it's crazy that Berg took that first line that I made up in the car with you on Friday as the name of the first track. I was like, literally said to you, "I'm going to try just saying this." That changed everything. But like the what I do on purpose, I do the whole act, and then at the end, I have one joke that doesn't kind of fit in the act. It really doesn't make sense with the rest of the growth of the story, but I kind of like it, the thing. So I go, nobody was truly offended tonight, right? And they're like, oh, and I'm like, you sure? They're like, no, we all had fun. And I'm like, great, now you're gonna be. That's the usually thing. And then I do it, and they laugh, and now they're like ready for this thing, but they already, they get mad now. In my head, this is just dessert. And if you don't like dessert, no big deal.
Right. And when you ask that question, everybody goes no, except for one woman up front who's probably in her late 70s, early 80s.
By the way, just
Just so you know, that earpiece you keep adjusting is your mic, so we can't hear you when you take it out.
oh, sorry, but I don't know if you heard me. Just so you know, not even close.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, the reason why she was offended by something I said a little bit later is because she's literally like 10 years older than me.
Oh. Well, I guess she had a hard life. And I do some
We,
anti-Catholic
we actually know that.
I do some anti-Catholic jokes, which she seemed to really enjoy, to the point where I was like, man, maybe she got molested. And then we come to find out, she goes, yes. You go, okay, well, you let me, but you had a good time too. And she goes, yeah. Then you kind of go on and do the jokes. And after the show,
Well, no, even before that, I think I did an audible because she did that during the joke. So I said, usually I'll just say they were offended. Usually, yes, they go, oh, well, then hey, put on some earmuffs, whatever. I tell this horrific thing. That's fine. It has a callback, whatever. It's jokes, but it's crazy. During that, she kind of was like still kind of talking a little bit, and I was just like, and I thought, and I think it works well for the bonus track anyway. When she said I'm offended, I go, great. I'm happy you said something. You should be allowed to be offended. It's crazy that if I got mad at that, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. You should be allowed to feel away. And she even said from the stage, I like a lot of your material. She said that, about I think your thing, she laughed at my joke. She loved molesting. She laughed at my molesting joke too. She goes, I like most of your stuff. There's just one part I didn't like. She didn't say that yet from inside the comedy club while we were doing the show there. And I said, well, good, because I want you to love me. I want you to be my grandma. And that's when she got mad because she looked older. I think she's like 16. I'm like 48, whatever. But like she looked like much older than that. And she did look like an old version of Tina from Bob's Burgers. So of course I told her that. And then I sang a song about from the Nine Inch Nails song, I want to fuck you like an animal, but like to the grandma as a grandpa, which was all off the cuff. And then I went through the jokes, whatever. People laughed at it. It was over. And yeah, so then sorry about it. They're gonna continue. I just didn't mean to cut you off.
the show ends. They carry you off stage like Rudy.
Jesus Christ. All lies.
She's outside waiting for you, right? And then this is where I think you should take over.
Well, I'm out there talking to people that are walking out saying, great job, really fun. We loved it. Strangers, family, whatever. I'm standing around with my sisters, my brother-in-law, my
I'm not, because I'm
daughter.
inside putting the comedy club back, because I was told, you best put this back the way you found it.
Yeah, then I put a stop to that. It's like so. Then my daughter, her boyfriend, her two friends. Which, by the way, I was worried about because like my kids know who I am and I love what I do. They know my humor and all that stuff. But I was kind of like, this is the first time. The boyfriend knows me. It's my comedy, but he knows my sense of humor. We get along. White was a great kid, and but then two friends, early 20s, and I'm like, I wonder if it's like, oh, your dad's a comedian. Is he like Seinfeld? It's not like Seinfeld. Like, it's just, we like
Hates the
Ryan Reed or something.
Seinfelds.
Right? Yeah, it's like what that. So it's like, so I asked her, and she's like, no, they thought this was. I guess the whole ride home, Bobby, they were just going, hello, which is from one of my jokes. But I just think you couldn't stop it. Which, by the way, there's a lot of things that people will be able to quote. If someone does it right, there'll be some fun TikTok audio. There very much will be some quotes of things you can say. I think of one from a Mr. Lodge joke that might be one of the biggest.
Oh yeah.
You talk about a TikTok thing. If that's pushed right, that can be like so much audio off that. But I don't know how to get people to do that. But anyway, so we're out there in the hallway area, and this woman comes over to me and says, "Can I speak to you?" And I said, "Of course." And she's like, "I just want to let you know why I was offended. I wasn't offended by everything. A lot of the stuff you found funny." And first of all, if this woman does find out about this podcast, I'm not shitting on you in any way. Again, I appreciate you having the nerve and the cojones to walk up to somebody and say something. You should. I know a lot of comics are like, and even I make the jokes, fuck off, don't talk to me afterwards. Listen, if my jokes weren't any good, nothing would have resonated with you. So the simple fact that it resonates so much that it touched a nerve that bothered you from a personal thing, you want to talk to me, it means that I'm conveying my message properly, and I do want to have a conversation with you. You deserve it. Everyone else got to convey their feelings by laughing and clapping and applauding and being better than you. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But so she comes up and she's like, I just want you to know. And Bobby, I know you weren't standing there the whole time. I think you might have heard parts of it. My daughter and my sister, I talked to my sister the next day. I saw a couple of my sisters. We have at my dad's house every other week. We have Sunday breakfast. So I saw a couple of them the next day. And, or one of them, just one of them the next day. And she was saying to me, like my sister, she goes, now I heard her. That woman said her son became retarded when he was 5. Now, just so people knowing, I do say the word retard a lot. It's 70% of the album.
If it were up to me, it'd be the name of your album. Just Pat Oates says retard.
Or just Pat Oates retard. Dude, that'd be or not even my name, just retard. But
call Dan Brown.
But the by the way, the artwork for it is Larry Storrs. He's a great comedian who did that too. So thank you, Larry. He's fucking dope. If that's still gonna be it. But I would think so. I don't even know if Aaron even saw the artwork yet, but he should be fine with it. It looks like him. So,
as long as you're happy, he's happy. That's all.
Cool. But I think I put that in a tweet 2 years ago. Or almost 3 years ago at this point. I'm happy you're happy. But the woman was upset because she had a child that was mentally retarded. I don't make fun of mentally retarded people. Yeah, and I'm being serious. You hear the album. I don't. I talk about the usage of the word and how it was used when I was being raised. It was almost used as a term of endearment in a way. It kind of became this whole thing about the album being about how I don't know how to talk to people. But anyway, so she said he became that when he was 5, and I was like, oh, my daughter's doing like, can he caught it? Did he catch it?
When you told me the story, I thought you said he died when he was 5 and he was retarded, to which I was telling a bunch of people, like, that's way shorter than the lifespan.
Right.
Like, I think this woman has some explaining to do.
Well, here's the problem. I heard it that way. And then at first I was like, then she said, he's 40. And I'm like, it would have been. And she goes, no, he is. And I go, what? And my daughter's like, he just got retarded at 5. He didn't die. I'm like, oh, I heard it wrong. She kind of like whispered in my ear, like being the interpreter for this thing. But the lady was saying how it hurt her to hear that because she had to deal with that struggle in her life, whatever. I did say when she's like, he's 40 years old. I'm like, good thing you didn't bring him. That would be bananas. Like, I'm doing the hello, he's doing the hello. That'd be a good time. But and then she pointed, and and again, I heard something else wrong. Because remember, a lot of things are going on. I just performed for an hour or so. I'm my head's all over the place. I'm trying to be nice to this lady, but I'm kind of like just trying to come down from this big thing I've been working on for a while. And so I thought she said afterwards, she's pointing to her daughter who was like your age and was like, saying like, she's upset. So I thought the daughter was more upset with me, like she was going to fight me. But my sister had said no, the daughter was upset that the mom was doing this, and the daughter was even saying he was real funny. Leave him alone, mom. And but both are right. You know what I mean? Like I understand her being a lady should be allowed to say what she wants, but
to the woman's credit, like she sat through the whole show. She didn't disrupt it other than when you asked for a disruption. You know what I mean? Like, and then afterwards, she didn't like scream at you. She just pulled you aside and said, "Hey, can I explain why I was bothered?" And I think if you're gonna handle something, you deserve a conversation, like you said. Now, if she came up and was like, "Fuck you, you baller," then no, you don't. You don't deserve it. But like she
right.
thought and clearly processed, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Well, what I like even better is the way you put that. She didn't get up. Well, the way you set that room, she had no way
She
of
couldn't
getting
have.
out.
No, no. We
She's
made
fucking
goddamn sure of
trapped.
that, didn't we?
She, just so people know, she wasn't like in the back kind of listening. She was front and center, basically on the stage at me, like to my right, like at my knee. Like she was close as anyone could be on stage, getting the full brunt of this.
She clearly wasn't that offended, or she could have grabbed you and tackled you from her without standing up.
Well, her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend or husband or whoever he was were dying. Like they were great too. Like right in the side, like everybody was having a good time. But like I hate that everyone's like, oh, that's just how great he was. Fuck you. I'm allowed to be. Everyone gets mad that I'm not happy, and I'm happy that they get mad. Fuck off. But anyway, so this though the woman was like, they're upset, and my daughter's real mad, and I was like, well, I said no offense, but I think I can win in a fight knowing your guys' DNA. And she smiled. She did smile when I said it. She goes, jeez. I go, I appreciate you coming out, whatever. Thank you. And she goes, no, and a lot of it. And the best thing, she goes, yeah, like a lot of the stuff, like you being molested and your friend being dead, that's hilarious. And I'm like, wait.
And when you got fired from your job and thought you were going to be homeless, great. I loved all that.
But she didn't even say that. She just named two things, no offense, way worse than being retarded in 40. Retarded in 40 sounds like a show on TLC that I'll probably be on.
It's called winning the game. Now, I think it's awfully bold of this lady to give you a hard time when you've been telling these jokes up and down Connecticut where best I can understand everybody's fucking retarded.
By the way, when I say it at the beginning, the first time I say it, that might be the biggest pop of the album.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, because of the way I say it, it's like
they almost started chanting it. They were so into it, dude.
If they knew how to say it, they would have chanted it. But they were all one of us. One of us. But once again, Bobby, thank you. Aaron, thank you. Ryan, both Ryans, thank you. Darren Rivera, thank you. Jill, who worked the door there, and her friend, thank them. Even the staff, anyone that came out, anyone that was part of it, anyone that was promoted, Chaz and AJ, and all of them were me. They made sure everyone knew about this. It's great. The tribe that came out. When I did radio this morning. I was just doing my twice a week thing. And the second I walked in, Chaz was busy doing his notes before the show starts. He looks up and he goes, "How'd it go?" And I'm like,
"That's awesome.
It went really good." And he's like, "Awesome." So he's like, "So what are we promoting now?" I go, "Retro and Derby Saturday." So just move on to the next thing. Last night I did do an open mic. Man, I got nothing. I mean, it's brand new, but I had a couple ideas, and I'm like, whoa. I even said that. I go, I got four things. But one thing I tried to do is make them think about the woman the joke. And it's just like, it was just like, so it had to be their meta. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but the couple other things I did try, I was like, okay. But it's for all new shit. We'll be getting there. So, but in about a month or so, this album thing is going to be on real shit. I'm very excited about that.
It's going to be fun, dude.
I don't know how much we're supposed to say yet or whatever, so I won't say anything.
I would leave it right about there. And once we get
I think that's perfect.
A couple things
you will hear about it, and you will hear me talking about it in places you wouldn't think. So, and I'm happy with that. Mostly Mexico. I heard a little bit of Nicaragua.
I don't think you heard that right.
Nicaragua. By the way, have you ever?
Aaron was trying to order a water.
Yeah. Yes. Have you? Oh, by the way, have you ever? I love that. But have you? I know you're not a big fan, but I think I told you I watch a lot of the best of Theo Vaughn clips on YouTube. I don't know if you know this. Theo Vaughn is part Nicaraguan.
I did know that. I'm actually a bigger fan than you think.
Oh no, I'm saying you're not. I would say, but I watch like a lot of the clips and things, so I see a lot of the same shit said over and over. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip he does where he talks about being Nicaraguan and then the nickname he calls himself
No,
and
I haven't.
all of them. So it's if you break the first two syllables down,
Yeah.
he says that, but just that, and then of all people, because this is he was on a podcast with Brendan Schaub. And Brendan Schaub goes, "Man, you might want to slow that down even more." Like, the way he said that, he's like, where my? And he says the two syllables. You're like, oh boy, where they at? But I had fun, and
Rockies.
it was a good time. Just going to being in a car with Bobby is also a great person to go places with when you need to be prepared. Like we were gonna, I he was also to help me out. My son was wrestling, so I got to go watch him wrestle. He got me off. He went to go do some like shopping and stuff. He came pick me up.
I'll
We're doing
tell
a
you a
long drive
story
back.
about that in a second.
Yes. So we go. We're driving back. We're on this back road. First of all, Bobby learned from me in the last 2 weeks that Bobby's not from Connecticut. And I know Massachusetts has it too, but Bobby's not knows about the Cumberland Farms life, as we call them, Cumbies, and he hates that name.
I fucking. Why would you eat somewhere known as Cumbies? It's not even cum A's. It's the second tier of cum.
Well, the better part too is Cumbies is spelled when the people write that out, it's Cumby, so it's Cumbies. It wouldn't even be it's Cumberland Farm, so it wouldn't be Cumbies anywhere. Everyone just calls it Cumbies. It's like a Sheets, but not as good. But it's Connecticut's version. We don't have Sheets, so it's got a lot of shit, but it's not as good as those kind of places.
It's like
But
if you found a state full of people who all should have just been exterminated. The gas station you would give them. I am not a fan of anyone in Connecticut other than you and my
and
friends.
by the way, you made that pretty clear in the car. You're like, besides you,
Yeah, I would, dude. I was not happy.
everyone. But so as we're driving by, we're talking about somewhere to eat. I'm like, well, there's a Denny's. And you're like, well, that's Universal. That's gonna be great, man. So we pull into the parking lot, and Bobby just as I'm about to get out, he goes, wait. He hands me a vape pen. He goes, we're going to Denny's. Like not like you are any. It's like you are you an idiot? Like you have to prepare. I'm like, of course I have to do that before I eat. So and by the way, Bobby knows how much I love puns. That's why I like Denny's because Denny's whole menu is puns. So we come in, and I had to eat something because it was a pun because it was a brisket sandwich with egg on it. It's called brisking it all, and I was like, ooh. It was delicious, but still, what the fuck?
Then we had the redneck Don at the table behind, like across from us, who ordered the same thing because he also loved the pun. And we realized it was just a trap. But my favorite part of Denny's was the woman who wasn't developmentally delayed, but was, best I can assume, just from Connecticut, who had to be kept being told, "Keep your shirt on. We're in public."
Because my back was to her, and I kept looking at you going, "Is she taking her shirt off?" Because
Sure
everyone going,
is.
leave it on, leave it on, leave it on, leave it on. And this wasn't a young kid. This was a 55-year-old woman who was gross. Nobody wanted it off.
I saw old woman titty like 4 times.
And keep it on, keep it up,
Please keep it on.
That's all I kept hearing.
Ma'am, we'd also like you to keep it on over at this table.
And like the service was forever. We thought we lost our check. We just never got it.
The one table just gave up. They were like, "Can we just know where our food is and maybe get it to go?"
The lady's like, listen, there's a lot going on. She's like, I know, it's a
didn't
restaurant.
see that. She just kind of gestured to everybody else on the other side. I was like, somewhere.
I mean, what do you want me to do? It's like, I don't know, you're the waitress. Can you figure it out? Like, I know it's just one person. That's all it takes. That's all it fucking takes.
Oh God. I was at a Friday before I came to get you. I was at Subway, which is my pregame routine.
Now here's the funny part about this. The comedy club I was supposed to be at, City's team, is attached to a residence in a really nice hotel. And the comedy club is, and Ryan, it was great. The headliner, it's put up there. It literally is attached. You don't have to leave one to the other. It's a sliding door that goes from the huge restaurant and bar and comedy club to the place. That's where you stay. But because the venue got moved because of the damage, I'm now 3 minutes away drive wise from there, and the show's at another hotel that Bobby's staying at. So Bobby has to go to run around and like come get me because I'm a schlup with no car, and then like come get me and do a 3 minute drive, which is fine, but it's just funny of all the little things that are happening again, and I appreciate everything. It was funny that the one I said to Bobby about this too. I'm not somebody who's all about the fanfare and the after parties and all these things. But the one time where it would have been dope after that show of 80 people, and even maybe more so there, it, everyone like loving me and the adulation I would have gotten to be able just to be like hanging out there with all these people afterwards and go right to the hotel room would have been cool. But I didn't even get that. Now it's like, who's gonna hang out with me? The 13-year-old dance parties?
No,
I'm just leaving.
we fucking bailed. We were like, we did it, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm at this Walmart, and you texted me, we're like, "Are you at the Subway close to you or me?" And I was like, "I think both, kinda. I don't know where I am." But this Walmart, as I like to call it, my home base for the weekend. I'm there, and it took two people 27 minutes and 43 seconds to order two subs. One was a tuna toasted with cheese. One was a tuna untoasted without. And it took so long, Pat, that by the time the guy tried to take the girl's attention from me to ask which sub was his, I was like, the hot one, you jackass. Ugh.
I'm surprised he didn't go, "Oh, are you talking about me?" Like, no, you're not the hot one.
I would have fought him at that point. I would have
dropped.
I would have found hockey gloves and dropped them because that's what I assume the only form of communication people from Connecticut understand.
No, we don't understand anymore because our hockey team even left us.
Good. I get it. I also would have left.
We have those sports. The Whalers left us in the 90s.
Every AHL player was like, I'd just rather retire than deal with the people of Connecticut. And there are highways that don't tell you that there are 2 lanes of exits that you're now just suddenly in. No fucking warning, and you got to get over 4 lanes.
I did lie. We were like a foot away from where our AHL Hartford Wolfpack are. They live in the place I was in.
Yeah, you told me about them.
Yeah, which is crazy. But oh man, I had fun, and then
it was awesome.
Sunday and Monday, because I'm part-time radio guy. When people have like weekends off, I'm radio guy. So the 3-day weekend, I was on radio 2 to 5 Sunday, and then Monday I was on from 10 to 3, and then this morning I was on from with Chaz and AJ from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I'm happy to have Wednesday tomorrow. Nothing, but all I have is I'm doing an open mic on Wednesday night and radio in the morning. And one day, but I took the longest fucking nap today. I went to do like an hour one. It was like 4 hours. My old ass died.
Oh God, I had a normal week, but I have to go to Toronto Thursday.
Ooh, for what?
Same thing as you, just different
Last
people.
Night. Who are you doing?
I don't know.
What? How are you gonna find them?
It's a showcase on Thursday, and then a guy named JP's Friday and Saturday.
JP who?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't call JP's. They're comics. I was just wondering.
From Canada? From Toronto?
Do they do New York things now?
No, like he's a Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of Toronto guys do New York things. So I was like, that's a company I might know.
I am very much looking forward to the recording and meeting these fellows and hanging out with them.
Yeah.
The last time I left the country, things didn't go so hot.
Yeah, but this is different circumstances, Bobbert.
Yeah, you can get fucking arrested for speaking. Like six of my favorite words will get you locked up, Pat.
Not if you say A.
No, they will. Hard A or hard R or A.
No, not. I meant Canadian A.
I know what you meant, but that's a great fucking
A.
joke.
It was really good, bro. That was around the king. I was like, no.
And he was a hard R, if you could catch my drift. Anyway.
I hit him real hard in the R.
Yeah, exactly. Turned him into one of your R's.
Hardy R. But yeah, but that's cool though. So you going up alone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. You have all your papers?
I've got my passport. I don't know what other papers I need.
I don't know. I left the country once, but it wasn't really leaving the country because I went to Cancun.
That's awesome.
But that was spring break. I was 20 something.
You didn't go to Canada in the middle of winter?
I would love to. For comedy, I would go right now.
If I was getting to perform, I'd be pretty pumped. I'm just going strictly to record. Yeah. So that's tough.
If I got booked to do a yucks, I'd be fucking fired up.
Oh, I would be pumped too. And then I would go into prison and refuse to pay like Mike Ward. But no, I'm looking forward to that.
The Mike Ward team. By the way, Mike Ward is a fucking hilarious fucking guy. His podcast is awesome.
He's the man. I love Mike.
Oh, great.
You know who else?
I never met him.
Even more than Mike? Pantelis.
Yeah, well, that whole group. R.I.P. to them. Yeah, the comedy media, but like, that's how I got to know them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, and I mean, Pantelis did my game show once, and it's just like a real cool, down to earth guy. That's why I say he's the man. He like is really trying to help out young comics. He built a podcast studio in Canada that he lets young comics use to do their podcasts out of and things like that. Like you have to produce it yourself, but you can use the studio. So I really like him. Anyway, looking forward to that trip. And but my favorite experience that was not album related was buying my jacket. Can I go put it on real quick?
yeah, put on.
Give me like 10 seconds.
Yeah, you can put. You can do a wardrobe change. People are probably excited for that. You're gonna come back with a fashion statement. But I didn't buy any fancy clothes for the weekend. I did wear outfits, and people were like, "Oh, you look nice." But like, I'm not dressing up for that. It was audio, but I thought I should still look nice. Have a collar on. I don't know. I think I'm just. I have. I've also been wearing a hat. I have like one of those great like Irish caps, like taxi cab hats. And a Thursday night when I went to Comics Casino, where everyone knows me, I've been performing there forever, and all the wait staff at the table, no one recognized me because I had a hat on. I was like, well, I understand the Clark Kent. It was fucking crazy. I literally had a hat on, and then I would take the hat off, and then people go, "Oh, Pat," and she's like, "Where were you?" Like, fucking, what is it? It's not a fucking invisible cloak, you piece of shit. It was a goddamn hat. So, but people, like, I don't look that much there. When he comes back from fucking doing the coat, maybe I'll grab the hat. We'll have another fashion statement show off. But it was just so dumb how people did not recognize me in the fucking hat. And I'm like, I'm not just bald. I felt like a lady with big tits. When everyone's like, "Oh, we only know your tits." When I had the hat on, people were like, "Who is it?" I think I was like, "Oh, you." I'm like, I'm more than head. Yeah.
You're a
Members
beefcake.
only.
Yeah, it's a members only NASA spacewalk.
Why are you tired?
I had to run.
Well, no, he didn't. We had time to talk forever.
No, I'm an astronaut now.
Oh, nice. Like Sally Ride.
But all right, so what a lot of comics don't know, or what a lot of people who aren't comics don't know, is when you're a young comic and your host is having daddy-daughter time or seeing his son wrestle, you kill time by window shopping. Something I do a lot. You walk around. When you're first starting out, you tend to blow the paycheck you're about to make on whatever you're shopping for. But one time when I was hanging out with Berg, saw this jacket. Biggest size they had was an XL. They tend to run a little small in this company. It didn't fit. Hanging out with you, XL fits. I'm going to buy it.
Nice.
Get in line. Go to buy the jacket. Is it on clearance now? And that made the deal a little sweeter. It sure is, Pat. Everything's coming up Tamburo. I'm in line. I get a text from you going, "Hey, time to pick me up." I go, "This is perfect." Then it takes me 27 minutes to check out because, again, everybody in Connecticut's fucking stupid. But
I'll take a hot tuna coat. Like, I don't want a hot tuna coat. What are you talking about?
some dude was complaining about the free stickers he got. "No, I already have these. Can you get these?" And she's like digging through. And I'm like, "I just want to buy my fucking jacket, please." So I get in line, go to buy the jacket. Then they do like the thing they do at all retail stores, which is what, Pat?
Well, ask you if you have a card.
Yep, get you to sign up for their stupid club.
Yeah.
Because they don't sell fat guy clothes. So I go, "Nah." She goes, "All right, well, what's your name real quick?" Give her my name. Then she goes, "What's your email?" I go, Bobby@gmail.com. She puts it in and then kind of looks up and goes, "How'd you get that?" I go, "Oh, no. I'm just not going to give you my real stuff."
Yeah, I'm lying.
And she goes, "Oh, okay." And like keeps going and then like finishes the rest and looks up and goes, "Why?" And I go, "Oh, I just get a million of these a day." And she goes, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense." And like that's 67 whatever. And I go, "Wait a second. What did you think was happening here? Did you think I was the world's fattest secret agent? Like,
yeah,
I'm a spy. They won't expect the fat, clearly out of shape guy." And then we finished the transaction. I go to leave. I go, "Thanks for your help." And I mean, she was nice. So we were just more busting balls than anything. And as I go to leave, she goes, "Thanks, Bobby, if that's your real name." And I just go, "What's in a name?" Give her a wink. She's like, "Ooh, that's really smart." And I was like, "This bitch hasn't read Shakespeare." And then I left because she was probably dancing in the competition that night, I realized.
Yes. Also, I think a great sentence is, "This bitch hasn't read Shakespeare."
Yeah,
Which sounds like
Shakespeare.
It sounds like a movie on Peacock. Like, "This bitch hasn't read Shakespeare."
I thought it
In
was
other
on
Black
BET.
History Month. I watched BET on a hotel on Friday before the show. I watched Above the Rim because I was like,
That's a great show.
Oh, fucking great. Tommy Shepard just doing this
I
the whole time.
I was stuck on VH1 Cheaters and over at the Holiday Inn. We didn't quite get the BET there.
I did watch. I told you that, to go to sleep after this recording Friday. I fucking watched that documentary on Kevin Brennan.
Yeah,
That
porcelain.
was fun. Yeah, but I think we did it. I think this is a fun recap one.
Oh,
We'll do another one
wait,
this
wait,
week,
wait.
right?
I
Okay.
didn't get to do my fuck this because we did a lot of
We
fuck yeah.
didn't. What else did we didn't do it?
I think everything we talked about was a fuck yeah, but I just want to say this, and if I may be
You
blunt,
don't think fuck this was the tuna sandwich? Okay.
no, the anger, I feel now, Pat, is nothing compared to the tuna sandwich. And if I may be blunt, fuck you, James. Okay, for those of you who don't know, CIA torture correspondent James Blunt of You're Beautiful fame.
You're beautiful.
Yeah, they
You're
literally used it at Abu
beautiful.
Ghrabi. It's a song about a guy who stalks a girl and she won't love him back, so he kills himself.
You're beautiful. It's true.
Yeah,
I
and then
saw your face.
yeah, it in a crowded room.
Please. Don't know what to do.
So I kind
Don't let me
and you.
with you. That's his real voice.
Yeah, it is.
They signed him up.
And you know what? He owned it for a while. He was like, yeah, it's a terrible song that gets stuck in your head. I'm glad the CIA used it to torture people.
Was he also, you had a bad day, take a one? That's a different guy, right?
His voice isn't that good. So he tweets today, and I follow him because I'm a fan. He kind of owned it.
Why do you follow James Blunt?
Because he's kind of like owned it and was like, yes, I put out a shit terrible song and everybody loved it. But he
say you aren't gay without saying you are gay.
Pat.
Beautiful.
Tweets today. He's in the top 13 on the charts again for a new song. Have you heard this song?
I'm not beautiful.
No. So that song's about a guy who kills himself because a girl's not in love with him.
Yeah.
This song, called Monsters, is about a guy singing to his dad who's about to die. That you're not my dad, I'm not your son, we're just two guys, go ahead and go to sleep. I can fight the monsters in my closet on my own now.
Yeah, closet monsters. That's gay.
Fuck you, James Blunt. I, on a daily basis, have to grasp my parents' mortality. Like the thought that I want to spend time with them and they're going to die soon, but spending time with them makes me want to die soon. I don't need your shitty music to make me have an existential crisis 5 minutes before I'm supposed to fucking podcast with Pat.
Oh my god! Imagine if your life got influenced by James Blunt's latest song.
Yeah. Imagine if you were crying 5 minutes before you logged on to the fucking POS show. You're thinking about your fucking dad and how you don't really want to call him after the show, but you have to because he's gonna fucking die soon because of James goddamn Blunt.
Well, he's not gonna die because of James Blunt.
I'm blaming James Blunt when he dies.
What are you gonna call your dad and say? You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Probably like, hey, it was another day. And then he'll be eating and it'll drive me nuts and I'll hang up on him too quickly and then I'll feel guilty about it the rest of the night.
I gotta go, Bobby. There's monsters in my closet. Say, fucking stay out of there. James Blunt's in there.
Dude, I hate when shit plays on that string. I saw a movie with an ex-girlfriend once and it's about time traveling and all the males in this family can time travel and the dad's dead so the son can time travel back and like visit with him. But then he's going to have another kid. And when he visits his dad, it changes the kid's gender and shit. And so he decides, like, I can't visit you anymore, Dad, even though I already have two kids. I'm going to have this one and we won't do it. Like, just have an abortion. You already got two kids. Go see your dad. And I remember just crying in the theater and, like, this ex being like, God, first you can't get an erection. Now you're crying at dad shit.
You bore a baby. You take your one down. You kill the baby and turn it around. That's a fun song.
And if you can't kill the baby, join them and don't be a piece of shit.
I got it.